right, welcome to another episode of the Dragon's Tome, episode 10. I am this week's host, Chopper, and I am joined with two semi-affable men, Jack and Rob.
Semi-affable?
Semi-affable.
I prefer the term affable.
You're like affable at the gate, and as soon as you get past that first turn, then it's just a slow slide down to curmudgeon-y.
That's probably true.
Well, as a duo, I think that is a correct term. I'm very much a curmudgeon. You are a very affable, lovable guy. So between the two of us, yes, we are.
Can't you see the hate halo?
That is, I don't know still why that does that, but
it's the anger radiating out of my head. Not though okay. Dragon's Tome. Not this podcast. Never mentioned on this podcast because I'm not angry about this one. Watch Team Building.
No.
So we are now episode. What episode? This is number 10, October 1997.
97. We jumped 20 years in the future.
What did I say? 97?
Yes.
1977. Sorry. And we are looking now at what I would like to call a step up in cover art.
It's definitely colorful.
It's very Thundar the Barbarian looking, in a sense.
I do like the lens flares. It is by John Sullivan, if anybody cares.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even... That's what it was. I was thinking, not Michael Bay. What's that guy's name? That overdid it in Star Trek.
Oh. J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams. Yeah. It looks like this might have been his grandfather.
Lens flaring it up.
I really like this. I think if this show takes off and we gain any part of some notoriety and it fuels our triumphant rise to success, that this is the tattoo we get. Each one of us get.
I'll get the girl.
That's good. I thought that would be the least. I'm happy with either of the other two then. I just want the sword.
Well, I don't know if the girl is bad or good in this picture. I don't know if she's being saved or she's the one casting.
I think she's the one casting. Yeah. She's pointing at him and her hand's glowing. That's not a good thing. Is
it because her hair is red?
No, it's because she's pointing at him with her hand's glowing and the demon's following her point. Although the demon does have bunny ear wings.
They have matching hair.
The demon has bunny wings.
They look butterfly to me.
Either way, I do enjoy this cover. I think the last one that we did, episode 9, suffered from. It was slandered by these two. They're certainly not appreciative of fine art, but that one you could tell it had been in a halftone, so it had been a reproduction. This one, look at the colors, look at everything. Whatever they used for the source to get like that benefited from being directly translated from whatever medium it was done in. Very nice.
And who was it? This is John Sullivan who did it. Yep. Is it really named Demon, or did we just call it Demon?
No, they don't never name him. I just tried to describe. Last time I called Zardoz, so.
So, all right. Well, let's move on into our target of our articles here. Let's start with you, Mr. Harper. What did you like to talk about?
I always talk about Dragon Rumbles first, and page 3. This one, they talk about there's a new table of contents, which is very helpful for me. And they have a table of contents that focus on what's official, what's not. There's something called DD Variations on a Theme, which is all the house rule kind of stuff, and then the designers forums, which are the official stuff. So it must have been a real issue with people complaining that all this stuff was what's official and what's unofficial, and the people must have been complaining that they separated. No, I know, but even more
about it.
Yeah,
they must have gotten editorial letters or something.
Somebody complained. Anyway, so now they separated it out so that there's different sections of the thing, so people know what's official and what isn't. like you had to. It's Dragon Magazine. Doesn't matter. Take what you like. Anyways, and it also reassures us that this won't be a board game magazine, since there's one included this month, which we'll see if anybody chooses that, but yeah. That's it for Dragon Rumbles. Timothy Kask, Editor-in-Chief.
Mr. Fike, what did you pick?
We're going to go just a couple pages below that, page 5. And we're going to do an article called Too Much Loot in Your Campaign? Well, it posits the question, is there too much loot in your campaign? Is there? Maybe, maybe not. If there is, keep reading, because it says D&D option, Orgies Inc.
I figured that's what would get you, so I stayed away from it.
I read it. It's a great article, but what a terrible title.
And you know what? I almost didn't read it because of the title. John Pickens, you scuttled your own article.
Is it the title or the horrible artwork that's at the bottom of the page?
Again, I would watch that while a black and white cartoon cat went through trying to escape from to go recover his bag of weed, and he went running through, and that
good
just
70s
appeared.
reference. Yes.
So that doesn't bother me at all. Clearly, it wouldn't fly by today's standards.
Well, and the thing is, the article has nothing. There's one thing about orgies, and even the orgies to describe aren't orgies; they're just parties.
Yeah.
Yes. So the crux of it is, if you, it says if you've accumulated too much, your party's accumulated too much wealth, and the DM's thinking money's losing its value. It has no ability to. There's no market to. Once you get so much money, it doesn't matter. You can buy whatever you want, and so what this article it boils down to, and I wrote down what it's an efficient way to get rid of get treasure out of the campaign. So what it does is it makes them the players spend their money in certain ways and get certain boons as a reward.
Wow.
That kind of wicks away a gross amount of treasure.
But it's not even boons that they get. It's because in D&D, when you get money, you gain experience for that money. But he posits that instead of gaining experience when you get the money, you only gain the experience when you spend the money. So then you will spend the money on stupid things just so you get the experience. I think that's a genius of an idea. And yeah. So yeah, things like research and philanthropy was one where it's like, oh yeah, things you'd never spend your money on normally because why would you? You're trying to hoard all your money. But I've always had that issue with D&D is that you can't carry all this gold around. It's too much. It's too heavy. You can't do it. And where are you going to put it? There's no banks. And I think this is a genius idea of how to get rid of money. And yeah, they didn't need to use the word orgies in the title.
Not at all, especially when they have the number one is sacrifices.
And philanthropy, research, clan hordes, and then orgies. And then it's like, what else they got? I can't remember.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of appendix.
Gambling.
There was like gambling.
Yeah. But gambling, they said you couldn't use it for that. But it's just ways to get rid of your money and gain experience. I think it's a great idea and a terrible article, unfortunately. Because it buries such a good idea in a terrible, terrible name. I'm sure people read it anyways, but never caught on.
It wasn't. The clan hordes one, where if you were a dwarf and you just got your experience from going back to your clan and depositing all this wealth for their treasure hoard, I was like, yeah, that makes 100% sense, like, obviously. But you're right. You're scrolling through and you go, hey, Orgies Inc. Who incorporates an orgy? That sounds weird. You scroll down and you go, oh, there's a orgy.
Thousands of gold to hire satyrs to come to this party.
Yeah, it was weird.
Some Bacchanalia with a griffin and a dragon. And
I will say it is the 70s, so orgies probably on people's minds. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially when they're having dinners at the Playboy Club.
That's true. Yeah, this probably came out of the Playboy Club discussions from GenCon. Was it GenCon? I think it was.
It was GenCon. And speaking of GenCon, if you're done, Jack,
I am.
I will get to mine, which happens to be the GenCon wrap-up on page 6.
That was my second one, too. So far, you've getting my first and second ones, guys. Thanks.
I like reading this because I used to go to Gen Cons, and then now I am actually working them as a exhibitor for Manti Games, and so I was curious as to how everything was, and I was very surprised at the amount of people in the 10th year, 2,300 paid attendees, and then I guess 6,000 over the full weekend.
Yeah, 2,600 uniques, which is,
yeah,
probably about a tenth of what they get nowadays, but still not bad for
I just think it, but
10th one.
And this is still at in Lake Geneva, because they talk about moving to University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is at
for the next year.
Yeah, this was at the Playboy Club. We talked about it already.
Yeah. And then 24 exhibitors, which is
once again add I was gonna say add 2, double it and add 10 probably.
And they go ahead.
I was gonna say Dragon Magazine won the best magazine award at the awards ceremony, and I was like, what other magazines are there? They beat Little Wars, I guess.
Little Wars. Yeah. And White Dwarf, I guess.
White Dwarf wasn't around by then.
Crestfallen.
Yeah, that's right. It was funny.
One of the things I noticed too is that they had a special dealers only day. I'm not sure what that meant. Is that dealers get to shop themselves?
Yeah. Their dealers
like
well, it was dealers could go in and talk to all the different companies and arrange distribution and stuff to bring it to their hobby stores and stuff like that. So you could talk to all the people. That's what it was. They kind of do sort of still, but not so. There is a con that does that.
Now it's Gamma.
Is it?
Yeah.
Everybody does that instead. Yeah, but same idea where it's just networking really. They get a whole day to themselves in the dealer's hall, which for only 24 exhibitors, you don't need a day. You may need an hour.
No. But I do like the paragraph that most of whom indicated that Gen Con was their most financially successful convention they've ever attended. And that being said, I think that's pretty cool because I think that's kind of they've become the standard now.
Well, this was the largest convention to date at the time. So
yeah.
It's Gen Con, even at 10, was the big daddy, and it's continued to be. Like, the only one closer is Essen in Germany. It's the only one closest, but
yeah,
North America, Gen Con still kicks.
Boot. All right. Since we seem to have stolen your thunder, what do you got next?
My last one, I think I might have other stuff, but on page 19, it's an interesting article because this is the sexist article that we read early on in our calling, but done correctly. The difference between male and female characters, and not sexist in the least. Also, it describes really different heights and weights and what your size equals. And it's really interesting stuff to determine like the your character's like build. And the other thing, it also has random tables for building character, which I love random tables. So you could do your hair color, your eye color, your skin color, like so much stuff. So you could, and he says combined with the other one that we had, the birth tables from, I don't know, a couple episodes ago, you could, this is really like the life path thing happening all together. But it describes all this stuff about male differences in male and female, and actually comes off very coherent and makes a lot of sense. And if anything, it's a little leaning towards the female of the species instead of the male. So I like it. But it really neat because it pretty much says that females should have higher constitution because they're more resistant to disease, like I guess empirically, and also that they are able to carry things longer distances, because they're used to carrying babies and stuff. But it's just, these are things that are like scientifically known, which is, instead of just saying girls are pretty, there should be a beauty stat. This actually has examples of why the difference between the two and how men should be able to lift bigger because their frames are built that way and stuff like that for certain things. And also, the only thing I thought was weird is that they said women should have higher dexterity because they have smaller fingers. I'm like, I'm not sure if that equals out, but hey, it was a good attempt anyways. But I was happy to see this in it, and it is a rebuttal to the other article without saying so much because he keeps like implying things, and he's like, but I bet he had like things in there, and the editor made him take him out because you could tell that he wanted to say more than he did, but it was good. It might I keep saying he, but it's PM Krabow. It could be a female. I'm not sure. I doubt it, but it probably is a dude. But
no,
anyways.
I think it's a dude. I think because there's an article that I read, and it's written by Paul Montgomery Crombow.
Ah, there you go. Old Paul. Anyways, very good article, and I think the tables and stuff are very cool and actually useful today. So there you go. That was my other one.
What do you got there, Jack?
I just wanted to bring attention on page 21 near the bottom. This is not so much as a highlight or a thing that we could discuss, but more of a, hey, what do you think this is going to evolve into? And it's an ad for the from like the makers TSR periodicals. And it's a Game Reviewers Wanted, and it was to do reviews for things in The Dragon and Little Wars, the competing redhead stepchild of magazines that we've all decided we're going to hate it. It's asking for people, experienced people who have knowledge in games and, writers and stuff like that, to, go out, buy a copy of the game if they don't supply it and do a review, and you'd get paid to do it. So I'm just wondering if this is a call to action to get more reviews in because they're lacking in material, or if it's...
I can answer that a bit because I think its next issue is that they're going up to 40 pages from 31. So they're expanding the size of the magazine as they go also. So I think they need more space for filling things. But Jack, did you send in your resume?
No.
Not through time? No.
You didn't. You didn't send them the review for Stratego.
I would have invented Stratego if I could.
So, all right. Well, my article that I liked was on page 9. Also written by PM Crowbow.
Look at that. PM Crowbow getting around.
It was the random monster thing, build chart. Reading the article, this is a chart in random monster, not wandering monster, but a random monster creator brought about by, and I feel today this still happens in D&D, that everyone knows the monster manual and the compendium, so everyone knows what monster they're fighting. Everyone knows what kind of weapon they need to use to beat that monster, or what the weaknesses are, or what they can't use. No one's going to use their +5 Vorpal weapon against a rust monster. So to combat that, not know the creatures you're supposed to be fighting, they put this chart together to make a creature. I guess you can make it look like whatever you want it to look like, but then it has these abilities.
Completely random.
Instead of which I thought was really cool, because then it stops players from, I guess, in a sense. I mean, if you're really trying to play the 70s DM where you got to kill everybody, this was the route to go.
Also, to make it more interesting, like you say, It became too easy to read books.
It's too hard. Even now, it's hard to play a game of D&D and not know what you're fighting. But I think people are more cognizant now about role-playing and not just saying, well, I know what that is, but my character doesn't know what that is, so
yeah,
I'm going to continue to use my best weapon, not knowing that my best weapon could be destroyed. So,
or at least make a roll for intelligence or something to see if you realize that.
Yeah, or some kind of spidey sense tingling off in the back.
You see a bunch of rusted out trinkets around the monster.
Yeah,
Rust monsters.
So it was, it was a nice little a little generator for that to solve that. That being said, it's like one of the pitfalls for D&D. It's just everyone knows the monsters.
Every game, really.
Yeah.
D&D.
That's true. Yeah.
Except for Jack's game, because, God, Jack won't let us look at the rulebook, let alone know what the monsters are.
You've read the rule book.
That's one of the reasons
Character
I like
creation.
Call of Cthulhu very, very well, too, is because those monsters are so out there and you don't know what they are. Unless you've really read all the Lovecraftian stuff.
I've read a lot of books, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I know what this is. But like you say, I think nowadays it's not a competition. It's a collective storytelling for a lot of people, especially Call of Cthulhu. And you're not going to just be like, oh, I know how to beat this because I've read this book. You're going to be like, trying to figure it out in-game. So I do have another one that I found that I'd like to talk about because it's...
Go ahead. Oh.
It's on page 20. It's called Gaining a New Experience Level by Tom Halsinger. And I'd like to say this is... I'd like to describe this as ways of gaining a new level and making a chore and undesirable, because you would never want to gain a new level if you had to do all this stuff this guy wants you to do to gain a new level. It is ridiculous. You have to hire a cleric and talk to your gods, but make sure they're the right gods and spend all this. It's like, no, you just ruined the only good thing about D&D. It's gaining new levels, and you ruined it.
I did appreciate when I started reading it, and it was like, oh, well, we don't know what to do if you gain a level in game, because usually it says after the adventure, and my adventures are longer than other people's adventures. So we got to do something. I was like, yeah, mid game role playing out, gaining levels would be, rather than just, okay, roll your hit dice. Okay, guys, pick your spells. I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, it gets in the weeds. Like I don't know if it was a word count he was looking for, or if his players needed to be corrected in some way, and this was their homework. I don't know, but yeah, it becomes the problem he's addressing. The minute problem he's addressing becomes this big thing. Like it would be a game in itself to do. So
yeah, it's way too complicated and way too labor intensive. Like, I want to gain level. I don't want to have to hire a cleric. Yeah, terrible. Anyways, that was my last one. Anybody got any others?
Jack, you got one?
No.
No one picked the game, huh?
No, the game, what was it called?
Snip Smash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say it's like snit smashing. It's a weird game. And they really pump it up, and especially in later things, they're like, it's such a roaring success. It's played everywhere. And I'm like, it looks like just a terrible, terrible thing.
Well, the one thing I will say about Snip Smashing, and I thought for sure when you guys would have picked it, or else I would have delved a little bit more into it, is that one thing I loved about Dragon was getting the free games in the middle of the book. There was a version of Dungeon Bowl, which I think led to Blood Bowl.
We'll get to it.
Down the line that I got, and we played that game forever.
I thought this was a spoof.
Well,
when
if it's a spoof, it's a real deep spoof.
Yeah, it's a deep spoof then.
And I almost was like, I had thought that I was going to bring this up because I was like, the first 3 paragraphs are just the same words with my snit's going to smash your baloney. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore.
It's a ballotomus.
Okay. And I was like, okay, well, this is obviously a joke. And it would be if I was a tabletop.
Well, it is a
gamer,
joke. Yeah.
But
it's also a game.
It's their attempt at doing a beer and pretzels game. You know what I'm saying?
But I thought it was a parody of, and I thought, oh, they must
a parody
be
of someone who
bowling
making
aisle,
a game. Yeah.
looking at.
Maybe the joke's on the people who took this seriously.
Because next episode.
Yeah, they talk about more, but it is written by the guy who did one of the cartoons. He was one of the comics in here. I can't remember which comic it is. The Floating in Timeless Space, I think the name of the comic is. So it is a comedy thing, but yeah, they take it pretty seriously as a game, which is weird. Yeah.
So I'll touch on it, but that's the one thing I really loved about Dragon Magazine was occasionally getting a free, easy to play kind of game like Snip Smashing. I didn't read the rules because I thought maybe you guys was going to look at it, but no. I don't know how it plays, but the cool thing is that it gives you everything you need to play, and you just cut it out, pull it out of your magazine.
Finding this magazine now is impossible.
Oh yeah,
it's all been cut to pieces.
But it's all right here though. It's super easy to make.
Yeah. And honestly, we already have all the erratas that happen throughout the next episode and two, so like we could start with a pretty good solid. Yeah.
We should 3D print some snits.
No. I will also mention that in the ad section, they mentioned Cosmic Encounter, which is now is considered a classic game. I was
just going to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's on page 13, and it's one of my favorite games. And when I was reading this thing, I was very, very surprised to see that advertised here because I didn't think this game was that old.
That old, yeah. You can see why it's a granddaddy. Yeah, it's a granddaddy of all games here. One of the early designer board games, really.
Yeah, I know in a later issue you actually get to see the board in the advertisement.
Yep. Cosmic Encounter.
But they don't have a lot of these guys are still in that game, like the Vulture, the zombies, the philanthropist, the Macron.
Never played Cosmic Encounter that I know of, so.
Oh, really? Oh, I still love that game, actually.
I say that I know of because I've lost a lot of brain cells over my life, and maybe I played it.
So, any ads anyone want to talk about?
You got any, Jack? I don't have any other ones.
No, but only a peripheral request. Speaking of ads, that someone may have purchased something from an ad a few episodes ago.
Oh, we need a review of it. Yeah, we never talked about it.
Yeah.
I think we need confirmation that it has arrived.
It has arrived. I have not opened it.
So, Chopper, you purchased.
Next episode, I will hold it up to be seen.
Okay.
It's a slow reveal here.
Just a slow unravel.
You wouldn't be getting the job at Dragon Magazine as a reviewer at this point.
Well, they're not paying for the game. I had to pay for it myself.
It's true.
So, I did want to point out, though, where was I looking at? Oh, it was in the table of contents. That we're still seeing references to EPT.
Yeah. There's an ad.
No.
Huh?
No, it was somewhere else. I forget where I saw it.
Yes. Everyone knows about erect penis time. It's a classic.
What is it? Is it Empire of the Petal Throne?
Legions of the Petal Throne.
So, I think the game is Empires of the Petal Throne, right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Because there was a thing here that said...
There's an ad down here.
It said D&D variant or EPT variant.
Oh, Legions of the Petal Throne is the wargame version of the other Empire of the Petal Throne, yes.
Okay.
So... There's an ad for it, but it's not going away. This Empire of the Petal Throne. Hey, if you play this game still, once again, comment below because.
Well, if anyone's played that game, yeah, I'd be.
Or heard of it.
we trash it very very readily here. Maybe it's just us trashing it out of ignorance. So.
Most of the things I say are just purely out of ignorance, so I can't be held responsible for that.
So if anyone's ever played Empire of the Petal Throne or read or let us know what you think. I'd be curious, honestly, and that's an honest truth.
Especially as a TSR game, I thought I knew every TSR game that was released, and I've never heard of this one, so it's kind of weird. Like, I even heard of the other one that we talk about, the what's the other one that Modern vs. Alpha? I've heard of that one. Like, but this, no clue. So.
And you'd think it would be just as likely as anything else. It's got the leg up. Like, there's the World of Greyhawk that became part synonymous with D&D. Yeah. This has just got the same lifespan. Like, it's just, you'd think there would be just as much of a chance of it becoming, like, people going, oh yeah, I played in I played in Greyhawk. Oh really? Like, I did the Underdark thing. But what about you? Oh, I played in whatever.
Empire of the Petal Throne. Me personally, yeah.
Yeah, but it just never happened. So I just
not that I've heard.
No.
Maybe there's a secret sect of these people running around still, still playing this game. Maybe there's Snip Smashing too, still going on to this day. We'll never know. Unless you comment below. Like, comment, subscribe.
There you go. I think this Fantasy Forge, it's on page 26. I think they highlight different miniatures. Because this is a different set of miniatures than the last one. Yeah,
this is an article. This isn't an ad. This is an article about all the different miniatures.
I thought it was a freaking article. I thought it was an ad.
No, it's the reviews of the miniatures. Well, not reviews. They just show them up.
I was gonna say they don't really talk about it. They just show pictures.
Yeah, but that's an article.
All right. Well,
it only took them 20 episodes. Actually, it only took them 10 episodes.
Distracted to the fact. Well, this Fantasy Forge wasn't in all of them, was it? It just started last issue.
No, it's a few issues. I've talked about it a few times. Once again, Pat doesn't listen to whatever people say. So.
No. He's just thinking about where his snits are going to set up along the blue hexes so that his Vladimir can place his Snander grab where he wants it.
That's true. I mean, this is a very complex game. Have you seen the Vladimir? Look at it. It's a triangle with a nose.
No, again, I thought this was a joke. It was tabletop war gamers making something. Oh, yeah, we keep these to a half an hour, so let's.
No more talking about snip smashing till that next episode.
All right, we're going to wrap it up because Rob doesn't like snip smashing. He's snit racist. All right, for the Dragon's Tomb, I've been your host, Chopper, and we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.